Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have come with a new chapter, that is respiratory system. But in this video, I only focus on the structure of respiratory system. So before getting into the structure of respiratory system, just take a glance about what is respiration. Respiration is Respiration is the process by which the assimilated food get oxidized and liberate energy. So respiration is mainly the process of liberation of energy. So look at this diagram. This is the stomach. In the stomach, the foods are digested, and after digestion, food assimilated in the small intestine. And from the small intestine, the food comes to the blood, and also from the lungs, blood oxygen entered into the blood vessel. So oxygen oxidizes the food, and then the ATP, that is energy, is liberated, and with carbon dioxide is also liberated with the energy. And then the carbon dioxide goes to the blood vessels and then at opposite direction to the lungs and then outside of the body. So the main purpose of respiration is to produce energy in the form of ATP. Here is our body cavity. This is our body. The upper part is the thoracic cavity, and at the lower there is the abdominal cavity. Respiratory system, the respiratory structures are actually located within the thoracic cavity. So the structure of respiratory system, that is the components of the respiratory system are divided into three groups. First, there is a respiratory passage. Second, respiratory tract. And third, respiratory respiratory organs. So these are three main parts. There are different components under these parts. So respiratory passage includes nose and nasal cavity. Respiratory tract, there are two parts, upper respiratory tract and lower respiratory tract. I will come in detail in my next slide. And respiratory organs, lungs, alveoli. Okay, so let's come in detail. First, there is a nose. So this is the nose, and in the front of the nose there are two holes. These holes are called the nostrils, external nostrils. Within the external nostril there are hairs at the floor and roof of the nasal passage. There are hairs. These hairs are called nasal hairs, and these hairs have a follicle, the hair follicle, which follicle secretes mucus. These hairs are actually acts as a doormat. Whenever we inhale air, the dust particles, pathogens, these are trapped by the nasal hairs, and mucus secreting cells trap that particles firmly with the hair. So they actually functions as to clean up the air. So this part, the swollen part of the skin at the around the nostrils is called the vestibule, and there are a separate structure that separate the two nostrils, that is called the septum. That septum is actually a continuation from the inner side. Okay, so this is our nose. Next, this is the nasal cavity. So these are this is the external nostril and these are nasal cavity, and here is the external nostril. At the above of the nasal cavity there is a bone named cribriform plate of ethmoid bone, and there are epithelium called olfactory epithelium, and at the below of the nasal cavity there is a first part is called the hard palate and the second part is called the soft palate. Okay, and within the cavity there are two important things, that is turbinates and nasal sinuses. Turbinates, these green portions are turbinates. There are three turbinates. Number 1 superior turbinates, number 2 middle turbinates, and number 3 that is inferior turbinates. So these turbinates are acts to these turbinates and sinuses. Sinuses are the specialized by mucus secreting cells. So these mucus secreting cells are present in the nasal sinuses, and turbinates what they actually perform, they spins the air. The air we inhale through the external nostril, the turbinates and the sinuses spins the air, that the dust particles, the pathogens, these are settle down and they are trapped by the mucus cells, and then after cleaning up the air, the fresh air get entered through the nasal internal nostrils, that also called the internal nares. Okay. Olfactory epithelium is a special type of epithelium we find in the respiratory system. This olfactory epithelium is also called the PSCCGE. The full form of this is P stands for pseudo, S stratified, columnar, ciliated, glandular epithelium. I repeat that pseudo stratified, columnar, ciliated, glandular epithelium. Why it's called pseudo? Look at the picture. Here in one plane different size cells are placed. But if we look at the outside, we can see that there are different layers. So it seems to be different layer, but actually they are not in different layer. They are all arranged on a single plane, on a single plate, on a single line. So as their size are different, some are small, some are long, some are medium in length. So as the cells are in different in size, so they are called the pseudo, but they are not seem to be looks like on the single line. They are look in different layers. They seem to be different layers. Okay, that's why they are called pseudo. Next, stratified, as they are in different layers, they are seem to be different layers, so there must be some triation by the outside. If we give the outside view, then it would look like striations are there. Then the cells are columnar in shape, that's why they are columnar. Cilia present with all the cells, and the cells are, as they are cilia, they are glandular. So this type of epithelium is called pseudo-stratified columnar ciliated glandular epithelium. Is a special type of epithelium that we can only find in the respiratory system. The second category, that is respiratory tract. Respiratory tract is divided into two parts, that is upper respiratory tract and lower respiratory tract. The upper respiratory tract, these are the parts included under the upper respiratory tract, that is nose, nasal cavity, mouth and oral cavity. Nose, nasal cavity, mouth and oral cavity. So these are the upper respiratory tract. And here is the lower respiratory tract, includes epiglottis, glottis. Glottis is the opening of the windpipe. The opening of the windpipe is called the glottis, and the glottis, the opening is covered by a flap-like structure. That flap-like structure is called epiglottis. Okay, and behind the windpipe there is a foot pipe. At a time only one pipe can open. If there is a air passage, air is passing, so the foot pipe will be closed. And whenever we are swallowing food, then the windpipe will be closed. So at a time only one pipe can be open. Okay, so here these are the parts included under the lower respiratory tract. Next, pharynx. This part is called the pharynx. Okay, Pharynx has three parts: nasopharynx, which is related to nasal passage, nasal cavity; oropharynx, related to the oral cavity; and laryngopharynx, which is associated with the larynx. Here, nasopharynx, where the eustachian tube open. Okay, nasopharynx at this point, eustachian tubes are actually coming from the ear. Next, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Here, what happened? The food pipe and the air passage and the food and air cross each other. Oral cavity, the food comes to the food pipe, and here from the nasal cavity, air passes to the windpipe. So here, look, these are crossing to each other. They are crossed to each other. So this oropharynx and laryngopharynx are specialized here. And also there is a bone where with which the tongue, our tongue is attached. This bone is called the high weight bone. Next, there is a larynx, which is called the voice box. This larynx comprises with 9 cartilages. 9 cartilages are of two types. The 3 paired. Out of 9 cartilages, 3 are paired and 3 unpaired. Unpaired cartilages are thyroid, epiglottis and cricoid, and the paired cartilages are arytenoid, cuneiform and corniculate. Their position is like that. This is the cricoid. Above the cricoid there is a thyroid cartilage, and behind the thyroid cartilage there are arytenoid. And from the arytenoid there are also 2 parts. These are the cuneiform. That cuneiform cartilage help to hold the epiglottis. This is epiglottis. This epiglottis they help the epiglottis to attach with the cricoid bone. So their position is like that. And also there is a vocal cords, because larynx is called voice box because of having vocal cords. The main sound is produced by the true vocal cords. Whenever we exhale our air, at that time the true vocal cords vibrate and produce sound. And the function of the false vocal cord is it protects the true vocal cord. So these are the 2 vocal cords, true vocal cords and false vocal cords. So these are all about the larynx. Now this is trachea. Trachea is also called the windpipe. Windpipe comes to the thoracic cavity and at the T5 region. T5 means the 5th thoracic vertebra. 5th thoracic vertebra is designated as a T5. At that position, the trachea bifurcated into 2. This is the left branch and this is the right branch. Left branch enters into the left lungs and the right branch enters into the right lung. Now this branch further bifurcate into 2. The first branch is called the primary bronchus, second branch is called the secondary bronchus, and then it is further divided into 2 branch. Then this branch is called the tertiary bronchus, 3-degree bronchus. Then it is further divided into other branch, that is called the lobular bronchiole and terminal bronchiole. Look at the picture very carefully. This C-shaped cartilage, the blue portion, the blue stripes is the C-shape, that means incomplete circle. C-shaped cartilage that holds that is present throughout the length of the trachea, that is up to the terminal bronchiole, because after the terminal bronchiole there is no cartilage, there is no C-shaped cartilage. C-shaped cartilage is only present up to the terminal bronchiole. Okay, so up to terminal bronchiole they are actually acts to pass the gas, they are act to pass the air. So from the primary bronchus and to terminal bronchiole, these are called bronchial tree. And then after terminal bronchiole, there are respiratory bronchiole, further divided into different branches. The first branch is the respiratory bronchiole, then there is the alveolar duct, then there is the alveolar sac. So these parts are called the respiratory tree. This part is called the respiratory tree. Okay, and this part is actually, there is no cartilage. Look at the picture. There is no C-shaped cartilage. Okay, they are mainly responsible for gaseous exchange. So bronchial tree, there is no gaseous exchange occur, but in respiratory tree, mainly the gaseous exchange occur. Now come to the space between the two lungs. They actually holds the heart here. Okay, this space is called the mediastinum. Mediastinum. Okay, this space is called mediastinum. Now come detail in the structure of the C-shaped cartilage. This is the C-shaped cartilage. Okay, C-shaped, this blue portion, it is the hyaline cartilage. C-shaped hyaline cartilage. Inner side of the C-shaped hyaline cartilage, there is a epithelium, and within the respiratory mucosa, that is actually the mucosa, respiratory mucosa. Within the respiratory mucosa, there are some mucus glands. This purple colored, I marked as a purple colored, these are mucus gland. They secretes mucus. And inner side of this mucosa layer, there is a respiratory epithelium. Respiratory epithelium. And here is the smooth muscles. So this is the structure of C-shaped cartilage. Now this is lungs. So our we generally have two lungs, left lung and right lung. The outer covering of the lungs is called the pleura. So this is the pleura. Pleura have outermost covering, that is the parietal pleura. Pleura actually have two parts, the outer and inner part. The outermost part of the pleura is called the parietal pleura, and the innermost part is called the visceral pleura. And between the two membrane, that is outer pleura and inner pleura, that is the parietal pleura and visceral pleura, the space between this is called the pleural space, and the fluid inside that space is the pleural fluid. Now there are some fissures that divide the lungs into different lobes. First, there is a horizontal fissure. At the left lung, there is a horizontal fissure that divides the lungs into two lobes, upper lobe and lower lobe. And for the right lung, there are horizontal fissure that divide the lungs into upper and middle lobe, and then upper and lower lobe actually. Then the oblique fissure divides the lungs into two parts, that is middle and inferior. So right lung is divided into three lobes, and left lung is divided into two lobes. Now there is the alveoli. Lungs and alveoli are the respiratory organ. So alveoli is the last part of our respiratory system. Is the last part of respiratory structure. So this is the air sac, alveoli. It is covered by squamous cells. Squamous cells are a specialized cells. Some cells are become very specialized. They forming mucus. This forming lecithin. Okay. Lecithin. What is lecithin? Lecithin is acts as a surfactant. I am telling you. First, look at the picture. I am describing you the structure. Then I am telling you about what is lecithin. So this is the alveolar sac, and alveolar sac is actually surrounded by the blood vessels, blood capillaries, because a profuse amount of blood capillaries are surrounded by the surface area of the alveoli for the diffusion of gases. Because whenever we inhale air, oxygen get diffuses into the blood capillaries, and carbon dioxide, which is come from the cell, that diffuses out within the alveoli and goes back to opposite direction, and we exhale that air. So these are the capillaries. These are also thin layered, single layered epithelium. That epithelium is called the squamous epithelium, squamous cells, or also we can say endothelium. And between these two, alveoli and blood capillaries, there is a non-cellular basement membrane. Non-cellular basement membrane. Now what happened? These squamous cells are of two types, pneumocyte 1 and pneumocyte 2. Pneumocyte 2 is a very specialized cells. They secretes a chemical. Pneumocytes 2, they secretes a chemical, pneumocyte 2. Pneumocyte 2 and pneumocyte 1, but pneumocyte 2 are a specialized cell that secrete a chemical called the surfactant. Okay, because of this surfactant, the alveoli don't shrink. They retain their actual size. And also lecithin, but I have just told you that there are some specialized cells. Some squamous cells become specialized and they secrete lecithin. It also acts as a surfactant. They actually reduce the surface tension of the alveoli. So that's all about the alveoli. In that way, our respirations goes very smoothly. So here is a anatomical structure. Is the anatomy. This is our human body, and if we bisect that in that way, then we find the organs, the thoracic cavity. Then we find the thoracic cavity like this, and this is our vertebral column. This is the thoracic chamber. Thoracic chamber is actually airtight. Yellow portion is our body wall, and this is the lungs. These are two lungs. Is a airtight chamber. And below that part, this is total thoracic cavity. There is a rib cages within which there is a intercostal muscles, and at the front side there is a sternum, and at the below there is a diaphragm, and below the diaphragm there is a abdominal cavity, and above the diaphragm this is the thoracic cavity. So by the anatomy we can find our thoracic cavity like this. So these are all about the structures of a respiratory system. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in my comment section. I will definitely clear you. And also you have any recommendation for any new topic, then also let me know in my comment section. I will definitely come with my, for the next video I will definitely come with that topic. If you get benefited by my video, then please like, share and subscribe. And who are watching my channel and you are new in my channel, so don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Very soon I will come with a new topic, with a new video. Till then, take care.